I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it.
If you guys like cold brew, let me know. Comment below. I'm just curious. I make my own cold brew and it's delicious. That sounds so hipster. Anyway, so basically we have a lot to do on the Z this week. This coming up weekend, is a 3-day drift event. So one drift event's a lot of abuse on a car. 3 straight days of drifting is a lot of abuse on a car. So we got to make sure this thing's in like tip-top shape. Plus there's some other stuff that's just come up as we've been driving it that needs to be addressed. So the most important thing that needs to be addressed right now, which is why we're doing it first, because it sucks the most to do too, solid subframe bushings. These subframe bushings are like fluid filled, I would guess, because it's leaking everywhere. Specifically the subframe bushing. I'm dead serious. So the private day we did with Adam, the shifter was shaking all over the place and it was like wheel hopping, and I think it's just from that bushing being completely blown out. So we're gonna check everything else out while we're in there, but we need to at a minimum swap over to solid subframe bushings. So that's what we're going to be doing today / tomorrow. It's probably going to be like a 2 days of casual wrenching kind of deal, because it's not that fun. It's just not. But optimism. It'll be sick when it's done, and we can drive. Okay, we're gonna get to work now, I guess. So the first thing, get the wheels off and out of the way. Oh man, I got to mount tires this week. I got a lot to do in preparation for this event. Got them on a lot of tires. Luckily, this thing does not go through a lot of tires. And real quick, that's just side tangent. That is the point in one of these cars. I was talking to somebody today, and they were, I'm not gonna name who they are, but they were like, "Oh, I want to build this. I think it's gonna be my next build, and it's gonna be like 600 horsepower." And they've already got like this high horsepower car, and they're just getting really into drifting. And I'm like, dude, get something simple like this. Get something you can go drive cost effectively, where you're not spending $500, $1,000 an event, you're spending $200. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the point in this car. And a lot of you have asked me to make it nice, and I'm on the fence. I really am. I really like it being beat up, because I just do not care. And I get to drive as hard as I want. When I drive people like Keegan, I don't have to worry about him hitting me or me hitting him. It doesn't matter. Both our cars are beat up. You know, and I'm going to make the Miata nice, so why do I need 2 nice drift cars? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts below on practice cars and missile cars. Maybe we'll make a video talking about it. Check out that alignment, though. You guys saw the alignment video. Came out dialed. I mean, the tread kind of ripped off this one, but still, it wore evenly. Makes me happy. If you have a bad alignment, or you cheap out, you don't want to get arms, you don't want to get your alignment right, you're going to spend way more money in tires. I learned that in Japan. I did like 1 set of tires, killed them super fast, and then had to go buy suspension to fix it. Alright, here are our subframe bushings. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the freezer. That helps shrink them up just enough to get them in usually. I don't know that it's as much of a problem on these cars as it is like S chassis. I know it's a pain on S chassis. But it'll help. It's not going to hurt anything to have them shrunk a little bit. So we're going to do that. Alright, so first off is this plastic cover. Big brace off, which is like all 14s. I think the only reason we have to take it off is just to get this brace off. Oh, and of course these parts are 12s. I know this is 14, so was about to let that drop on my face. I didn't think about holding it up. Alright, that's out of the way. Now these guys, which is 14s. Alright, we're gonna zip tie this exhaust out of the way. Probably should have just taken this off in hindsight, but whatever. Okay, back to the matter at hand. What else do we need to do now? We undo the drive shaft. That's annoying, so we'll go ahead and do that. So look at this. This is not metal. Some sort of composite. But what we're gonna do is put a mark right here. No leaks yet. Remind me, if I don't remember and this video is up before I'm done, to check the gear oil level. I haven't done that yet. Okay, drive shaft out, exhaust out. So I think we got this brace, and then I don't know, maybe that's it. You know, besides like the big subframe bolts. Oh, we need to take the brake calipers off. Do that now. We'll just zip tie them out of the way. We're taking this out because we're going to replace this with an adjustable arm. The reason we're taking it out now instead of when it's out of the car is because I don't want to undo the lines of these calipers and have to bleed them again. So if we take this off, we'll be able to like snake the caliper through and just set it on the ground with the lines all still attached. So we're just going to do it that way since we have to take the arm off anyway. So that's the plan. Should be able to just drop this down now. I have to let it just slam into the ground. All right. Cool, that was easy. Okay, so now we can pull. Sorry, that's loud. We can pull the brake calipers off. Oh, there's the other one. I think we're gonna be hosed. All right, well, there we go. Okay. That was fun. Okay, brake calipers are out of the way. Other ones are off, slid up there with the line and everything. So what we're gonna do now, unbolt the shock, and then I think it'll be ready to come out. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge by myself. Generally, you kind of like want someone on each side to stabilize it, especially if you're just using a floor jack, but I really want to get it out tonight, so we're gonna try. All right, I'm sure, yep, there's one. Yeah, there's electrical connectors down here. It looks like it's just one, but we're gonna check. This is, I'm sure, to the speed sensors here. Whenever you go to take something out, always check for electrical connectors. It took me a long time to learn that lesson, and it's like, oh cool, now the subframe's hanging by the electrical connectors. I'm trying to use a wrench to pop this out. I really need a screwdriver, but I don't want to get up and get a screwdriver because that would require getting up. And I've done that like 100 times tonight. Gonna start going down. And we're already stuck. How did I forget the shocks? I literally told you guys, oh, I just gotta undo the shocks real quick and we'll take this out. I totally forgot. That's what happens when you work so fast. You just work so fast that you miss things. Yeah, right? That's what it is. Ooh, getting a little sketchy. dangerously. Just gonna let it autopilot so I can balance it. Look at that. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at that? Cool. All right, well, that was my goal for tonight. I don't want to be sawzawing and cutting stuff out late at night. I try to respect my neighbors, despite what some of you may think. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. But basically, it's going to be a stick of sawzall in there and cut the rubber portion out, and then we're going to take a metal blade on the sawzall and cut the race, because this is like, you know, essentially the bushing race. And we're going to like slit it all the way to here because we need to get this whole piece out. So this is a not fun process. I know I said that before, but it's just not really a good time. So we're going to use a wood blade on the rubber, and then we'll switch to the metal blade like I just said. So I don't know, we're going to do that. Ta-da! That honestly sucks, but it wasn't the end of the world. This is what they look like with no bushing in them. Yo, that new Sawzall made short work of these bushings. That first one with this thing, this is kind of jankily put together because the screw stripped out, so then I tried to put a bolt in it, which just barely clears as it goes back and forth. And then that bolt stripped out, and then I put this bolt in and it like broke immediately. Like you can see that the piece that locks the blade in there is trashed. So that's why I went and picked up this guy, which I assumed would be less powerful because it's cordless. And I just got the cordless one because, you know, junkyards and things like that. I wanted a cordless Sawzall for a while, and I have a bunch of batteries. Holy cow, this thing is so good. It's so smooth and pretty quiet. It's really comfortable. Like, which I say that when you have an uncomfortable Sawzall and you're for like an hour, it hurts your hand. So this one's pretty nice, and it's got this nice like ratcheting mechanism to put the blade in. So really, really cool, really impressive. This is the cheap one too. This isn't even a nice one. So I just picked it up from Home Depot. It was like 120 bucks at Home Depot. All right, so now we're just gonna clean out the spot where the bushing was so that we hopefully don't have any interference issues with the new bushing, because we want like everything out of the way possible. You know, so we'll come through and wipe these down too. That way, when the bushing's going in, we have as good of a chance as possible to get it in. We haven't done a snap transition in a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this subframe. All right, we got it cleaned up. Man, pressure washers are a great thing. I have like a cheap, excuse me, $80 Harbor Freight, Amazon one, and it made a big difference. This was all super nasty, coated in the grease from the fluid-filled bushings. You know, I'm not trying to make it perfect like I always say. It's just I don't like working with super dirty stuff, so I got to put this back in. I don't want to get covered in grease putting it back in. And the rest of the underneath of this car, surprisingly enough, is like mint. So try to keep the theme going. This is the only dirty thing. So now we have to do the much dreaded part of installing the new bushings. I don't know if the installing is worse than taking them out. I guess we'll find out. So we're gonna bring out one bushing at a time. That way they don't warm up too fast. What I'm gonna do is also, since aluminum is very heat sensitive, we're gonna heat it up really quick and then try to slam the bushing in. So that way we have hot expansion, cold shrinking. Boom, look at that. Preheating wasn't even necessary at all. I probably blocked that whole shot. Gonna hold it in here and let them both cool down and heat up. Oh wow, that's cool. I wonder if you can see that. Look at the frost going away. Oh, it's about to, they're about to stick to each other here. Bring it up and down when I first put it in, and now it's, I mean, it's not stuck, but it's in there. So, because of that, we're not going to heat up the other side, because there's really no point, because this went in so easy. So I'm going to try to just knock the other ones out, and then I'll see where we're at. So since that was so annoying, we're just going to heat up the other ones because it went in way easier. So I was fighting this bushing forever. As you can see, I kind of messed it up, like cameraing it in, trying to get it in before it warmed up or this cooled down. And finally, I just had to go in there with a Dremel bit and, like, I don't know what it would be called, the little grinding stones on a drill. Cleaned it up, wire brushed it, Dremeled away some more, wire brushed it, and like did that multiple times. Cleaned it up with a cloth, like polished it basically on the inside. Same with the bushing itself. Put the bushing back in the freezer. Used some of this stuff that I've had for years, Loctite freeze and release. I don't know if it actually worked or not, but it seemed like it made it a little colder. And then heated this up for even longer, and then it just slipped right in. So when in doubt, don't hammer it out like I did. Anyway, now we can actually reinstall. Oh no, we still got stuff. We got the arm to install. We're gonna do that. All right. Okay, so we've got to lengthen this arm just to get it bolted on at a good static point. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and tighten these down, put the other side on, and then we'll leave the jam nuts loose so that we can align it once we get everything else on. So that's what it looks like, all complete with solid bushings and all the arms. It looks so nice. So race car. One quick thing I want to note while we're on the topic of solid bushings, something that I've come to realize is if you put solid bushings everywhere, like subframe, suspension stuff's really the only stuff that I'll put solid bushings in. Because if you start putting solid bushings in your diff and your transmission mount and your engine mounts, then the drivetrain has nowhere to flex when it gets shocked from like a clutch kick or an aggressive launch. And that's how you end up breaking other stuff like axles and diffs and stuff. When you have a lot of flex in the driveline, which is what that stuff's meant for, and you know, to keep vibrations down, that absorbs a lot of the shock. So, you know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know. But I just wanted to mention that because I used to think like, oh, I would just get all solid everything, because solid's better, and it's not really necessarily the case. Okay, enough procrastinating. Time to put the subframe back in. So now we just got to go through reverse order of everything we did yesterday and just put everything back in. Drive shaft, brake stuff, all that. So I'm going to do that. All right, well, the subframe and everything else is back in the car. We still have to, later on this week, do the true coilover, like just full BC coilovers front and rear, tires, alignment, catch can, stuff like that. Mainly the coilovers. Don't be a dingus like me and forget that you need to put like this brace on that connects these two and that thing on up there before you put the subframe bolts on and bolt them down. What a nightmare, because running them up without those, that's like a spacer essentially, or like a washer. So I think it allowed the nuts to like bottom out too much, and then they were like just tough to get on back on and off, and it was just not fun. not a fun time. But we're done. We got everything hooked up that I can remember. Yeah. Hopefully no more banging around. Everything else looks good. Diff bushings look good. Trans mount bushing looks good. So I don't know. But all in all, not bad. Not a bad project. Like, there's parts of it that kind of suck, but it's like not horrible. Definitely freezing the subframe bushings and heating the subframe is the way to go. I wasn't going to do that, and then last minute I'm like, I might as well. This will help, I would think. And it helped a lot. Like 3 of them went in like nothing, and I think the last one just wasn't going in well because it was getting a little crooked as I was putting it in from the bottom, and I couldn't tell, and I like went to hit it up and it would dig in, and then the next time I put it in, it had that lip there or something. I don't know. But anyway, more stuff to do this week. Fun drift event this weekend. Lots of fun stuff coming up in regards to that stuff. So I'll see you guys then. Oh, also, if you guys don't follow my Instagram, the Miata is out getting caged. So you don't be mad at me for working on the Z. The Miata is off at Chris Jackson's shop, Jackson Performance, getting a cage. Whenever it's done, we'll have a full video on it. So, okay, goodbye. See you tomorrow or something, day or 2.